Mother's Day from Break Free Homestead. Sometimes we just have to do this thing over and over and over. So currently, we're on our way to breakfast, and we gotta pick up a few things for the rabbits and stuff like that. So the video that you're getting ready to watch is, it was done yesterday, and we harvested our turkeys, and
got 4 out of 5.
I just want you to know up front, this is not like a how to harvest your turkeys video. We don't do any step-by-step instructions. We're just kind of showing what we did. So just come along with us. Everybody knows that, anybody who watches our channel knows that I have a love-hate relationship with these turkeys. And once it started getting to mating season, the toms just went crazy. Anybody that came in our backyard, they would try to gang up on them and peck at them and flog them. And it's not near as like traumatizing as the rooster, as King doing it, because King can do some damage, and none of them actually done any damage. But you know, for our grandchildren or whatever, it's no fun to be chased down by these 3 huge toms, you know. So and plus, we're getting ready to plant our garden, and they will tear up everything. Everything that I had last year, all the flowers and stuff that I had in the backyard last year, they would get into. And they actually, where's it at? There we go. The bed right there that was what I had my tomatoes in. They would get in there and hide. When they were small, they would get in there and hide between the tomato plants, which they didn't do a lot of damage, but then as they started getting bigger, they did. So yeah, that's what's happening today. I'm not entirely sure how much of this I'm gonna get on video, mainly because it's just me and Randy doing this today, and we don't have all the help that we had when we processed our pig. So I'll try to get what I can. This is definitely not a how to do this video, considering we have never done this before and this is our first time, but we are looking at this as practice for harvesting our chickens, so it'll be a good practice run. The turkeys are actually in there banging on the wall. I don't understand what they're doing. They're either banging on the wall or stomping on the floor or something. I don't know, but we've had them closed up in there all day yesterday. We took their food away from them yesterday morning and didn't let them out. They do have water, but their little food thing is sitting right there. And hopefully that'll make for some cleaner harvesting. So, yeah. Okay, let me just go through what our setup is. So this is the table that we're going to use to, it's what would be called the eviscerating table if we were doing something professionally or whatever. But so I've cleaned everything, including all of our coolers, down with a bleach water solution. We have rubber gloves or latex gloves. We have 2 boning knives and a sharpener. This just came from a field dressing kit, and it works pretty well, ceramic sharpener. And these for cutting the neck, because I'm really not entirely sure how easy that's gonna be. And that tool may not be adequate. We'll just have to see. We have this cooler over here that we're gonna use for the pink water. So like after you eviscerate it, you need to put it into an ice water bath and let it sit, let it rest for a few minutes, and just let it kind of cleans everything out and all that kind of thing. And then we will bag them. We have these turkey bags, or turkey size bags. These are actually pretty big. Let me see if I can show you. So they are actually, like, they're pretty big. I don't know if I can, well, let me lay it on the table. Yeah, that's how big they are. They're pretty good size. So we shouldn't have any problem with having a bag for them. And And the package actually comes with zip ties and a straw to do, you know, to get the air out or whatever. And then we've got these 2 coolers. Once we get them bagged, we'll put them into those just as a holding place. When we're completely done, we'll rinse all of the pink wood or whatever they call that out of that one and clean that real good. And then the bagged turkeys will go back into that and rest for 3 to 5 days. We're gonna just keep them on ice in our basement. They need to stay at about 40 degrees and before you freeze them. That's been recommended by lots of professionals that we've watched do this. So that's what we're planning on doing. Over here, Randy has built this kill cone. And I should have videotaped that, but I wasn't thinking while he was doing it. I was working on my herb garden bed. But this is super easy to make, guys. We've got the cones for chickens, but they're not big enough. They might be big enough for our hens, but they're definitely not big enough for the toms. And so we found a video, and I'll link it below, how to make this. It took all of like, I don't know, it might have been 15 minutes to make this thing. So I'll put a link down below so you can see how to do that. And then down here is the bucket that will catch all of the, you know, the blood and stuff that drains out of the turkey. Right here we've got our, it's actually our turkey deep fryer set up, heating up with water inside. You can see that. The reason that that's like got the white film on top, we added a little bit, like a teaspoon of Blue Dawn to this. And that is supposed to help with the feathers coming out. So apparently it's really hard to, for a plucker, if you're using the machine or whatever, to get the feathers out. And this, and plus it's like notorious for them sticking in the plucker, and that is supposed to help break down all of those oils or whatever that is on their feathers to stop that from happening. And then out here we have our plucker. We've never used this before. This will be the first time, so I don't really even know what to expect with this except for what I've seen other people do on other channels. All right, so here's one of our toms. The plan is that we will make a cut on this side and another cut, actually it'll be like this, on this side and another cut on the other side. And yeah, you're gonna have to go, dude. Not even playing.
Go.
But from all of the research that we've done and things that we've seen about this, it's not a good idea to cut the head completely off. Once you make those slits and that blood starts draining out, they lose consciousness in about 3 seconds. And but the brain will still be telling the heart to continue to pump and pump all the blood out, which makes for a cleaner processing. So that's what our plan is. I'm not going to videotape the actual killing, but that's what's going to happen in just a second. All right, so this is our last turkey. Randy's dunking her in a scald to loosen up her feathers. So the tail feathers are typically the hardest to get out. So once those are easily removed, then that pretty much means the rest of the bird can be plucked fairly easily. One of the things that we have found out through this process is that our chicken plucker is not adequate for turkeys. It gets them, huh?
At least the toms.
At least the toms, yeah. It gets them about 50%, but we had to pluck a lot by hand, which is good. I think this one is almost ready. We had an issue with our other hen. As we were dunking her in the scald water, we noticed that she had a big gash on her, wasn't it on her back?
Yeah.
We're not really sure how she got it. We speculate that it might have been one of our dogs that did it. But it did not, I just didn't feel comfortable eating it, I guess. I kind of feel like had we known she had it, we probably would have let her live or not processed her and let that, you know, heal up or whatever, but we're not even sure when she got it. So anyways, we're gonna take this one out and put her in the plucker and see what happens. So we have actually been cutting the feet off at this stage only because the toms were so big that the less parts that were in it, the better. So Randy is taking the feet off. Working a lot better on the hen than it was the tom. All right, so here's one of our toms, and we've actually weighed this one already. It's 14.5 pounds. And then this is one of our hens. She's really small. I'm not sure how much she weighs yet, but we're letting our water heat up to shrink wrap these bags. As you can see, we're doing the straw method. So the straw is kind of in the cavity of the bird, and then you can see it out here. And as that shrinks up, we'll pull the straw out and pull it tight. This water has to be just under 200 degrees. And you leave it in there for approximately, 5 seconds? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But leave it in there a little bit more. The other ones, the air didn't come out all the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should be good. And then you bring it over here and let it rest for about 10 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pull this out. And then we have a shrink wrapped turkey that we will then put in one of those coolers. And then it's going to go into our bigger cooler in our basement and rest for about 3 days. We have 14.5 pounds, 6.5 pounds, 15.5 pounds, and 15.5 pounds. Did you think that harvesting the turkeys was easier or harder than the pig?
I don't know, you did the killing.
I know. He made me do all the killing. I don't know how I don't know. Like harvesting any animal on your homestead, we want to be self-sufficient with our food and in control of that kind of thing. But it is not easy. And, if you're thinking about getting into homesteading and doing this, you need to think about that too, because raising these animals, even though you all know that I have a love-hate relationship or had a love-hate relationship with those turkeys, raising animals and then taking their life is just not an easy thing. It is not for the faint of heart. And it did not get any easier with each one that we did. So yeah, it was that part of it just sucks. I'm just gonna be honest with you, it just sucks. But I kind of felt like when we harvested the pig that it was easier, even though we you know, screwed some things up, even though it wasn't done perfectly and didn't look like a seasoned butcher or whatever. I personally had never processed any kind of bird. Randy has, but it's been a long time since he's done it, and neither one of us have processed any turkeys. So I do feel like it prepared us a little bit for the chicken, you know, processing that's going to come up this summer. I do feel like I'm a little bit more knowledgeable with those things. It did go a little bit quicker with each one, but honestly, I can't say that I want to raise turkeys again. And we may. I mean, I'm not going to say never. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. But I just did not. When they were smaller, I did enjoy them. But y'all, they get into everything. They tore up all of my flowers I had planted in the backyard. They got into our tomatoes last year. They tore up lettuce that I had planted. They get into everything. And then when mating season started at the first of the year, or around the first of the year, whenever that was, the toms they got to where they, I think Randy was the last one, but they even got to where they would come after him and try to attack him. They went after our grandchildren. They started with Crystal.
There was a pheromone in their hair.
I don't know what it was, but they lost their mind. And I mean, like I said, they started with Crystal, and then when our daughter Sam would come over, they would go after her. And then after a while, they started coming after me. Then they started going after him. They were attacking our grandchildren. It was a mess. Deer in the road. So I'm glad that we did it. I'm glad that we have those turkeys in the freezer. I am a little bit, the one hen that we had, so we processed the three toms, and one of the hens that we had when we actually, it was like right before we put her in the plucker, we noticed that she had a big gash on her, wasn't it her back? On her breast. It was a big place. And I'm going to assume that was from our dogs. And so we actually just disposed of her. We didn't put her in the freezer because that kind of freaked me out a little bit. Our dogs did not get along with the turkeys. And honestly, what I believe is because the turkeys were always coming after us. Our dogs don't mess with any of the other animals that we have. And, which, I mean, they're separated from the chickens. So, the chickens are in that pen with the fence around it, and they can't really get to them. So, honestly, I don't know if they would do something to the chickens if they got a hold of them, because we keep them separated. But the turkeys roamed around in the backyard. There was no way that we could keep them contained in anything unless we put up like an 8-foot tall fence or something, and we weren't going to do that. But the turkeys came after us, and I kind of feel like that's why the dogs went after them. I'm not 100, that one particular thing, I'm not sure if our dog did it or if something else did it. I don't know, but we just ended up disposing of her because I didn't want to put that in the freezer because I wasn't sure about it. So I do kind of feel horrible about that, because regardless of how they act, I want them to have a good life while they're with us. And I feel bad that she had to endure that, because actually out of all of them, the hens were the ones that
docile.
Yeah, they were docile. They didn't mess with us. And if we could, I don't know, I guess if we ever do raise turkeys again, it'll be hens, because I don't want to deal with toms anymore. So yeah, that was.
The hen was only half the weight of the turkeys.
Yeah, the hens were small. How many?
6
Yeah.
and a half.
The hen that we processed and it was bigger than the other one that we didn't, was 6.5 pounds. And then we had, you know, the two 15.5 pounds and the 14.5 pound toms. So yeah, that was our experience with the turkeys. And again, we want to wish all you mamas out there a happy Mother's Day. We've got some other videos coming out soon. We're actually going to do, I think maybe this evening or something, we're going to do, we're going to pull out our water glassed eggs and do an update on that and how they taste and what we think about that and whether or not we're ever going to do that again. So,
do a comparison.
Yeah, we'll do a comparison with the fresh and water glass. So, I hope y'all have a blessed Sunday, and we'll see you soon. Bye.